Welcome back to the library, book lovers. It's lovely to see your faces again. If you're new here, welcome. So I was perusing YouTube as one does, and I came across Ari Kyrie's video about her top books of 2026 so far. And I thought to myself, you know what, that's actually a pretty good idea. I'm going to do that as well. I liked the prompts that she had, and also it's more than halfway through the year, perfect time for reflection. Side note, if you're hearing like chewing or like you hear like a bang or something, I'm filming in the room where we have my mom's chinchillas right now, so apologize if you hear some background noise. Like I was saying, halfway through the year, more than halfway, great time for reflection. So shout out to Ari Kai for this idea, and I'm going to tag the video in the description. And when you have a chance after this video, please go check out her channel. She has great videos. She talks about a lot of books that I usually don't see in circulation. And she just has great talking points, and it's a great conversation over there. She's actually the reason why I picked up Black and Blues. So yeah, after you finish this video, head on over to Ari Kai and check out her channel. Show her some love. Now, I don't know how many books I've read in total so far this year, but I do know that I reached my goal of reading 12 books, so hell yeah. So there are 4 categories to the mid-year book awards, and the first category is an underrated book. This is a book that I didn't think that I'd love, but I ended up loving, and that book is Midnight Rooms by Danya Cole. I say this book is Alice in Wonderland meets Get Out. I know, it's a very interesting combination, but trust me when I say, if you read this book or if you have read this book, you'll get it. This book is a gothic horror historical thriller set in 1840s Victorian England, and we follow the story through Arabella's eyes. She's kind of like the ugly duckling of her family. She's the last one to be married off, and honestly, her family can't get rid of her, constantly inviting suitors, but none of the suitors really seem to be attracted to her, and she also doesn't really seem attracted to them. She is a little strange, but there is nothing wrong with that. It is also important to note that she is Black, and she has big hair, she's got curly hair, and she's beautiful. I forgot to show you guys the cover. Hello. So this is Midnight Rooms. Side note, the author is also an artist, and I've seen some of her work, and it is absolutely beautiful. I cannot confirm right now if she's the one that made the cover, but I wouldn't be surprised. Back to the story. Arabella meets Elias, who is kind of like her last suitor before her family kind of like gives up on her, and luckily Elias is taken to her and shows her attention that the other suitors didn't really show her before, and she agrees to marry him kind of reluctantly because she feels like she's backed into this corner. So she ends up saying yes because she wants to leave home, and also she knows societally she needs to marry. So her and her new hubby Elias move to Corringill Manor, which is very decrepit, decaying. It's isolated, it's guarded, and it's just overall creepy. And it's not just creepy, it's full of locked doors and hidden secrets. Arabella is constantly trying to be like, hey, can I go to this wing? Can I go here? Can I explore my new house? And everyone's like, no. But not only that, soon after her arrival, she experiences memory loss, nightmares, and she wakes up with strange bruises all over her body. Because of this, she starts asking questions, and the family, as well as the house staff, they don't like that. And because of that, she starts to question her sanity and her husband's true intentions. Until one day, she decides to follow the white rabbit down the rabbit hole. There is not actually a white rabbit. I was just saying that because I can, because it's Alice in Wonderland. So I went into this book with a zero expectations, and I came out freaking loving it. Okay, I got it off of Kobo Unlimited. I looked at the cover and I was like, that's a beautiful cover. And then I read the book and I was like, that was a beautiful book. It is very macabre. It's very Victorian, gothic, horror, thriller, all the things. Having an unreliable narrator can be fun, and this one did prove to be entertaining in a creepy, kind of sad way, actually. Very, like, kind of morbid at times, because like I was saying, she experiences memory loss and bruises all over her body, and you're kind of wondering like, what is going on? And yeah, we're just experiencing everything along with her. I liked the writing. It was very poetic, and the underlying mystery, when it is revealed, is actually pretty dark. Another thing I really liked about this book was the imagery, like I was saying, the poetic writing and the metaphors, specifically the house, the garden, and the surrounding land as a metaphor for the themes throughout the book, which I don't want to share because it might lead into kind of spoiler territory. But like I stated, she is Black, and that does play a role because the family is white. Overall, this book is the appropriate amount of eerie, and it is perfect for the upcoming fall and winter season. This next category is living rent-free. So this is a book that I thought about and it stayed with me long after I finished it, and that is Red City by Marie Lu. Now, this was her debut adult fantasy novel, and it takes place in an alternate, gritty Los Angeles. It's called Angel City, but it is modeled after LA. And we follow childhood friends Ari and Sam after they grow apart and find out that they are on rival crime syndicates. And these crime syndicates are all involved in all the mob drama and magical warfare, which involves alchemy, because alchemy is like a huge commodity, because you can change things like your appearance, you can change materials, you can literally turn stone into silver. And one of the key things about these syndicates is that they both peddle this drug called sand, which is created with alchemy, and it heightens your senses. So in the first half of the book, we learn Sam's history, we learn Ari's history, how they got to where they are. And the second half takes place in present day, where all the drama is currently happening. And this book is pretty dark. Like I was saying, it's her first adult fantasy debut novel, and it deals with a lot of heavy themes, including addiction, corruption, growing up in poverty, being a child of an immigrant or being an immigrant family, and perfectionism. Did I say grooming? I think, yes. Grooming is in this book, and it's in this book. I think the science and the magic in this book are pretty cool. Anyone can practice alchemy, but it might come easier to some people than others. And the reason why it stuck with me is because I honestly didn't expect anything out of this book. It was a book club book, and I think it was like a random pick, but I went into it blind. I didn't know what to expect, and I came out really enjoying myself. Like when I say I was invested in this story, I have literal pages of notes. Like it's ridiculous. Like I made notes after every single chapter. I wrote down my favorite quotes. Yeah, this book was just really well written. It wasn't perfect, but I think the simple fact that I went into it not having any expectations, not knowing what to expect, and coming out of it feeling excited for the second one. The main characters are really complex. They're making these decisions based off of the options presented to them or based off of what life circumstances they had. And there's also this overarching theme of equals and opposites, which is like a fundamental aspect of alchemy, and that theme follows throughout the book, especially watching the two main characters' lives play out separately and then coming together, and then they both navigate like this, how do we go forward from here. My favorite character is Sam. She is my girl. My girl has gone through a lot, okay? Marie Lu, please give my girl Sam a break in the second book. Please, I beg you, please. I know very well that's not going to happen. Marie Lu reminds me of Sabatahir. Not just the world building, but also the fact that they put their characters through hell. But yeah, this book reads cinematically. Some people liken it to The Magicians meets The Godfather. I haven't seen The Godfather, but I'm familiar with it like culturally. I have seen The Magicians, and I must concur. It's really good. Like I mentioned before, there are a lot of heavy themes, and there are a lot of heavy themes, and Marie Lu tackles them and wraps them up in the book in a very, I wouldn't say gentle way, but in a way that gentle hands. It makes sense. It's done really well, and it's just intertwined throughout the story. And like I said, she writes, at least our two main characters are really complex, and they're not perfect, and you really have to look at them as the whole of the person and how they came to where they are, and how they came to where they are today, the decisions that led up to that, the people that are involved in their lives that influenced their decisions, and you know, who's the bad guy here, you know, because it could be a couple people. It could be a couple people. Okay. This next category is overrated. This is a book I thought I'd love and ended up not loving. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because this book actually pissed me off. And that book is Star Seekers by Nicole Glover. This was a book club book, and it sounded cool, but it was not. So Star Seekers is an archaeological, science, math, murder mystery set in 1960s during the space race. And the magic system, or the arcane system, is intertwined with math and science. And our main character, Cynthia Rhodes, is super smart, and she's black. Okay, kudos there. But she's an arcane engineer at a NASA research center. And magic is part of the world. It's like intertwined into it. It is normalized. She's got her own cooking show. Or does she have her own cooking show? No, her friend has her own cooking show where she incorporates like magic into how you cook. Anyway, Cynthia comes from a very long line of sleuths, mystery solvers. They solve the mysteries. They do the things. They're the Indiana Jones or Sherlock Holmes. A little bit of both. So, of course, naturally, after a colleague of Cynthia's ends up dying in an accident at the research lab, following the visit to the research lab from a very mysterious museum curator, Cynthia's on the case. Doesn't that synopsis sound really freaking cool? That's what I thought. But then I started reading the book, and immediately I, for one, was bored, overwhelmed. The magic system was hard to follow. Just when I thought I was understanding everything, something else happened, and I'm like, what is going on? What is the point of this? There's too many characters. I ended up DNFing the book. Almost every time I picked up the book to read it, I fell asleep. I really wanted to love this book, especially because it's written by a Black author and it features a main character, Black female main character who's really smart. But it just didn't hit for me. It just didn't hit for me. And that's okay. It may not be for me, but maybe it's for you. And on that note, we're going to move on to the last category. So the last category is That Was Rough. This is a book that challenged me. And this book goes to none other than The Obelisk Gate by N.K. Jemisin. This is the second book in the Broken Earth trilogy. And when I tell you, this series is an experience. This is my second time reading book 1 and 2. I'm still holding off on finishing 3 because I, 1, don't want the series to end, and 2, I'm scared. Like I was saying, The Obelisk Gate is the second book in the Broken Earth trilogy. So it continues our journey with Asun as she looks for her daughter Nasun. And that's all I want to share of the synopsis because I don't want to give it away. I don't want to spoil anything because when I say this book series is an experience, like there's very little that you can talk about in a non-spoiler aspect without spoiling it. And I say that because of the way that N.K. Jemisin writes this series. It's how she kind of brings you along on this mystery, on this journey. And the book is written in third person. Third person? She uses you. Instead of I, she uses you. And I know that can turn people off. I know. Okay, listen, I understand. It was a little difficult to get used to the writing. But trust me when I say it matters. And it makes the impact that it is intended to make. Now, as to why the second book challenged me was kind of similar to the first. It challenged me emotionally, okay? Gut punch, literally every single chapter, almost every single chapter, every 5 pages, I would have to stop and reflect. I'm underlining things, I'm taking notes. I'm like, wow, okay, so this connects to this part of the story. This ties into this like mystery of the story. This revelation here, oh my gosh. Another reason why this challenged me, and it kind of falls into that second book syndrome, and it's the pacing. The pacing is a little slow at times, I'm not gonna lie, but it really doesn't distract from the book overall. It's just you just gotta push through it because I promise you it's worth it in the end. And book 2 continues those themes of motherhood, grief, generational trauma, generational cycles, forgiveness, redemption, climate change, and how we interact with the earth. The 5th season and The Obelisk Gate are just very poignant, real, and raw storytelling. And I learned that one of the things that inspired N.K. Jemisin to write the Broken Earth trilogy was the protest from 2014 after the murder of Michael Brown Jr. He was an 18-year-old Black boy who was murdered by a police officer. And that really sparked the Black Lives Matter movement. And you can see this frustration written throughout the book. And it's really embedded in the foundation of some of the themes in the book. Especially when it comes to how Black bodies have been used as a tool to further this capitalistic, colonialistic society. And especially how us as Black children, well, I'm not a child anymore, but I was a Black child, right? But so many of Black children aren't able to grow up, or they're forced to grow up in efforts to keep themselves safe. Anyway, if you haven't had the chance to experience the Broken Earth trilogy, I highly, highly, highly recommend that you take the time to check it out. Those are all my books for the mid-year 2026 book awards. It was honestly kind of hard to find one book per category because many of them crossed categories, but I am happy with what I decided for each category. Hit that notification button because there is a video coming up soon in the near future, and all I have to say for that is it's going to be a battle of the books. If you've made it this far in the video, first I want to say thank you so much for your support and hanging out with me. And also drop a sun in the comments, as well as how many, if any, books you DNF'd this year so far. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, a comment, a share, grab yourself a library card by hitting that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!